Welcome to the HFY Tales channel. Remember to like and subscribe if you like the story. Enjoy and take care.
The bustling intergalactic marketplace of Zechariah 7 was an overwhelming tapestry of colors, smells, and sounds, a far cry from the quiet life Jake had grown accustomed to on Earth. Exotic fruits hung in vibrant clusters, while strange meats dangled from vendor stalls, glistening under the incessant glow of neon signs. Alien merchants shouted their wares, their voices a mix of high-pitched chatter and deep growls, creating a symphony of chaos that echoed in the air. Jake wandered through the crowd, his eyes wide with excitement. He was on a quest to procure the finest cut of meat for his friends back home. They had always scoffed at his tales of intergalactic travel, claiming he was embellishing for dramatic effect. However, tonight, he intended to serve a feast that would change their minds forever. Lost in thought, he turned a corner and stumbled upon a peculiar stall adorned with shimmering lights. It was different from the others, which typically showcased fresh fruits or bizarre meats. This stall felt more alive, pulsating with energy. The sign overhead read, "Rare Alien Beauties, 100 credit units each." Jake squinted, leaning closer to get a better view. His heart raced. What did that mean? The tall, muscular alien vendor noticed him and leaned forward, a calculating smile creeping across his face. "Ah, young human. Looking for something special? I have 2 exquisite specimens, perfect for companionship or leisure." The vendor grinned, gesturing broadly to the corner of the stall. As Jake stepped closer, his breath caught in his throat. 2 alien sisters stood side by side, their iridescent skin shimmering like the night sky. One was tall, with striking silver hair cascading down her back. The other was slightly shorter, with deep blue skin and lively, purple eyes that sparkled with mischief. They were stunning, yet something about their expressions suggested a blend of fear and defiance. "What do you mean, companionship?" Jake asked, keeping his voice steady despite the fluttering in his chest. "You pay one price for both. A bargain, yes? They can entertain you or keep you warm at night." The vendor's smile grew wider, as though he was revealing a lucrative secret. Jake frowned, taking a step back. "Are they for sale like that?" "They're not." Lyra, the silver-haired sister, glanced at Nia before speaking up, her voice soft but resolute. "We're not just objects. We are sentient beings." Each word seemed to carry the weight of her indignation. Nia added, her tone laced with urgency. "We need to escape from here. If you buy us, we'll help you. Just please, don't let him sell us." For a moment, Jake was torn between intrigue and disbelief. The vendor boomed with laughter, the deep rumble echoing through the marketplace. "Listen to them, such spirit. But remember, humans often misunderstand. It's all about market value. What is more valuable than beauty?" Feeling a surge of protectiveness, Jake leaned closer to the sisters, shaking his head. "That's not right. You're not commodities." "Then help us," Lyra pleaded, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears. "It's either this life or worse." "I don't have that much money," Jake said, glancing at the credits in his pocket. But even as he spoke, a spark coursed through him, a feeling he couldn't ignore. What if buying them meant freedom for both parties? The vendor crossed his arms, eyeing his prospective customer. "For you, I'll make a special deal 2 for 1. A mere 200 credits for both exquisite beauties." Jake bit his lip, weighing his options. He'd never planned for any of this when he set out for the marketplace. Yet, a pull of curiosity mixed with compassion began to take root in him, a desire for adventure, to break free from the mundane. "All right," Jake finally said, his heart pounding in his chest. "I'll buy them." The vendor's eyes gleamed with satisfaction, but as Jake reached for his credits, the atmosphere suddenly shifted. Sirens wailed in the distance, red lights flashing in the marketplace. A wave of panic rippled through the crowd. "Run," Nia urged, grabbing Jake's arm. "What? Where?" he exclaimed. "Anywhere but here," Lyra shouted, her demeanor shifting from desperation to urgency. The 3 of them bolted into the fray, with Jake barely keeping pace. As they dashed through the crowded aisles, dodging vendors and startled buyers, a new chapter of his life was about to begin, and Jake had no idea just how deeply it would change him. The cacophony of shouts and sirens filled the air as Jake and the sisters sprinted deeper into the chaotic labyrinth of the marketplace. The bright neon lights of stalls blurred together, creating a dizzying display as Jake risked a glance over his shoulder. The vendor's ire had evidently summoned security, and they were not far behind. "Where do we go?" Jake shouted, the words nearly drowned out by the throng of people. "Follow us," Lyra called over her shoulder, her silver hair trailing like a comet's tail. Nia, tethered to Jake's side, pulled him along, her grip surprisingly strong despite her delicate appearance. "This way," she urged, leading the group down a narrow alleyway lined with crates. The alley was dimly lit, a stark contrast to the vibrant marketplace, and Jake's heart raced, not solely from running but from a thrilling sense of danger. As they navigated the shadows, he felt an exhilarating mix of adrenaline and curiosity about the alien sisters running beside him. "Do you have a ship?" Nia asked, panting slightly, her eyes darting about for potential threats. "Yes, I parked not too far from here," Jake replied, his thoughts racing. This opportunity to continue the adventure was quickly unraveling into something dangerous, yet he couldn't shake the excitement coursing through his veins. "Good. We need to reach it before they seal off the exits. Do you have any weapons?" Lyra added, her voice steady despite the chaos. No. I didn't think I'd need anything more than a credit chip." Jake stammered, his mind racing. Just a few hours ago, he'd been a simple guy looking for ingredients for dinner. Now he was aiding 2 alien women on the run. "Then we create a distraction," Nia proposed, her tone fierce with determination. They stopped a moment to catch their breath, and Jake's mind began to spin with ideas. "What if we set off some alarms?" he suggested, recalling the various stalls filled with goods. Lyra smirked, her violet eyes sparkling with mischief. "A bold move. I like it. Let's do it." With a shared understanding, the trio sprinted toward a stall filled with various mechanical gadgets. Jake scanned the items while Lyra and Nia created a diversion, pretending to haggle over an assortment of strange devices. With a swift movement, Jake grabbed a small device that looked like a remote control and pressed a large red button on it. Instantly, a loud alarm echoed through the market, blaring like a siren and causing confusion. Vendors shouted, their wares spilling everywhere as people panicked and ran. The chaotic scene diverted attention away from Jake, Lyra, and Nia. "Now, let's go," Jake shouted, urging them forward. As they darted toward the exit, the 3 fought their way through a flurry of alien merchants and bewildered shoppers. Jake felt every heartbeat echoing in his ears, the rush of adrenaline propelling him onward. "Your ship," Nia yelled, pointing towards an opening where Jake had parked his modest spacecraft, an older model but reliable. Its silver hull shone under the dim lights, and relief washed over him at the sight. They made it just as the sounds of chaos descended behind them. Jake fumbled with the door controls, heart racing as he pressed the opening button. The door slid open, and they piled in, quickly shutting it behind them. Nia took the navigation seat, quickly powering up the systems. "We need to get out of here fast. Can you fly this thing?" she asked, casting a worried glance at the windows. Jake settled into the pilot's seat, glancing at the controls. "I've flown before, sort of," he admitted, shifting nervously. "But I wasn't expecting to do this so soon." "Just do it. We have little time," Lyra urged, her hands clenched tightly on the armrest. Without thinking, Jake engaged the ignition, the ship rumbling to life. He set a course away from the marketplace, dimming the lights as a precaution. "Here we go," he shouted, pushing the throttle forward. The ship shot out of the docking bay, barreling into the vastness of space. The marketplace shrank behind them, the colors blending to a distant blur. As they soared into the unknown, the 3 of them fell silent, absorbing the gravity of what had just transpired. "Did we make it?" Jake asked, inhaling deeply as he glanced over at Nia and Lyra. "We're clear for now, but there's more to discuss," Lyra replied, her voice steady but tinged with concern. Jake turned his attention to the controls, setting a secure path away from the planet. The stars blinked at them through the viewing port, and for a moment, He felt a sense of liberation. "What did I just get myself into?" he muttered, more to himself than to them. "You made the best decision of your life. You saved us," Nia said, her eyes softening. "But they'll come looking for you, for both of you. Not to mention what I've set in motion," Jay countered, guilt creeping in. "Then we make sure they never find us," Lyra replied, a hint of mischief re-entering her voice. "Welcome to a new adventure, Jake." As the ship suddenly leveled out, Jake couldn't help but smile. The thrill of escape was exhilarating. In that instant, he realized that he wasn't just fleeing danger. He was embracing the adventure of a lifetime with two extraordinary beings by his side. The silence aboard the ship hung in the air, punctuated only by the soft hum of the engines and the occasional beep from the control panel. Jake carefully maneuvered the spacecraft away from Zechariah 7, plotting a course through the stars while stealing furtive glances at his unexpected travel companions. Lyra settled into a seat beside him, her eyes scanning the star-filled void outside. The shifting constellations painted an awe-inspiring picture, but Jake couldn't shake the nagging anxiety brewing in his chest. "So, what happens now?" he asked, trying to project a confidence he didn't feel. Nia turned from her station, her purple eyes bright with curiosity. "Now we regroup and figure out what to do next. We're safe for the moment," she said. Lyra nodded, her expression serious. "But we can't let our guards down. They'll send bounty hunters after us. We need a plan." Jake took a deep breath, the thrill of the chase still buzzing in his veins. "Write a plan. What do you think we should do? You both seem experienced in, well, unconventional situations." Nia chuckled softly, her laughter soothing yet playful. "You could say that. Let's just say we've had our fair share of dangerous adventures on our home planet." Jake raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "What's it like? Your home?" Lyra leaned back, folding her arms. "It's nothing like Earth. Our people have a unique connection to our environment. We're in tune with our planet and every living creature on it. But the galaxy hasn't been kind." Nia shifted in her seat, her expression becoming serious. "Our planet was recently laid to ruin after an invasion from a more powerful race. They took our people as slaves or worse. We were trying to escape when that vendor caught us." She paused, visibly troubled by the memory. Jake's heart sank, grappling with the gravity of their situation. "I'm so sorry," he said quietly, feeling a swell of empathy. "That must have been terrible." Lyra waved a hand dismissively. "What matters now is that you freed us. You're braver than most, Jake, but we cannot let what happened define our lives." Jake nodded, but uneasiness bubbled within him. "You two are remarkable. I didn't expect this whole situation to spiral into an intergalactic adventure complete with danger and, aliens who have been sold as commodities." Nia leaned closer, her eyes sparkling mischievously. "And why shouldn't it? You've already broken the ice with some pretty bold moves. Perhaps this is your chance to witness a world beyond what you know. Before I signed up for this, I just wanted to buy some meat for dinner." He laughed nervously, rubbing the back of his neck. Lyra smiled knowingly. "We've all taken unexpected paths that lead to growth. Now, let's discuss our options. We have to be strategic." As they plotted their next steps, a renewed sense of camaraderie built in the small cockpit. Jake felt a surprising surge of connection. Fellowship wasn't found only in shared circumstances, but in a shared dream of escape and freedom. The three of them dove into discussions about potential safe havens. Lyra and Nia's home world, Ziltria, was deemed too dangerous for now, given the remnants of the invasion still lurking. Instead, they focused on nearby planets that might provide refuge. Talia Prime, Nia suggested excitedly. "It has a vibrant underground market and plenty of people who know how to stay hidden. We could lay low there for a while." "What about currency?" Jake interjected. "I don't have enough credits for all of us to blend in." Lyra smirked. "Your human ingenuity will solve that. We can trade skills. We have talents unlike anything here." "Skills?" Jake asked, curious. "You have a ship," Nia pointed out, "and you know how to navigate. That's useful. Lyra can charm her way into any situation, while I'll ensure we stay informed." Jake smiled, the weight on his shoulders feeling a little lighter. So, I'm the captain, eh? I could get used to that. As they charted their course toward Talia Prime, feelings of anticipation washed over him. Guided by the sisters' confidence, Jake began to see himself in a new light. No longer just a passerby in his own life. He felt the stirrings of purpose, a mission that lay beyond the grasp of mere survival. As the ship glided toward their next destination, Jake's heart raced with excitement and trepidation. Little did they know that shadows were already looming in the depths of the galaxy, old foes and new threats that lurked just beyond the night. But for now, their laughter and shared excitement drowned out the sirens. Together, they were blazing a path to freedom, and that was enough. With resolve building within him, Jake flicked the ship's controls, setting a course toward the promising unknown of Talia Prime. As the ship approached Talia Prime, the vibrant colors of the planet swirled into view, a breathtaking array of blues, greens, and yellows. The sky glimmered with hues that seemed to dance, reflecting the flourishing ecosystems below. Jake's heart raced with a combination of awe and anticipation as he maneuvered the ship into orbit. Amazing, isn't it? Nia remarked, her purple eyes wide with wonder. It's beautiful, Jake agreed, captivated by the planetary spectacle. What's the story here? Lyra leaned forward, her curiosity piqued as well. Talia Prime is known for its rich resources and its diverse cultures. The underground market is where you'll find the real heart of the planet. Traders from all over come here to exchange goods, and it's a hub of secrets. Nia nodded enthusiastically. It's the perfect place for us to lay low. We can blend in among the crowds and gather information on our next move. Jake guided the ship closer to the surface, searching for a landing zone amidst the sprawling city below. Brightly lit storefronts lined the streets, and the sounds of jubilant chatter filled the air like music. The planet buzzed with life, and with it came the promise of safety and secrecy. He finally spotted a secluded alley between two towering structures. There, he announced, angling the ship to land. That should do. With a gentle thud, the ship settled onto the ground, the engines humming softly before finally falling silent. Jake took a deep breath, excitement mingling with nerves. All right, what's the plan? He asked, turning to the sisters. First, we need to blend in, Lyra advised, her expression shifting to a serious demeanor. Change our appearances to avoid detection, and then we can explore the market. Nia rummaged through a small bag she carried, withdrawing a collection of airborne cosmetics, products from their home planet that would allow them to alter their skin tones and hair colors. These will help us look inconspicuous, she explained, applying a sparkling gel to her skin that shimmered and shifted into earthier hues. Jake watched them transform, the sisters' vibrant colors shifting to subtle shades of brown and olive, making them look more like inhabitants of Talia Prime. What about me? He asked, a hint of embarrassment creeping into his voice. Don't worry. Nia giggled, mixing some gel to create a swirly pattern on his arms. You're perfect just the way you are, but let's not take any chances. After a few moments, Jake looked down at his arms, surprised to see swathes of deep mahogany filling in around his skin. Oh, okay, this is interesting, he remarked, intrigued by the shimmering illusion. I really hope this works. It will, Lyra assured him, her calm presence enveloping him in reassurance. We'll just act casual and stick together. With their transformations complete, they exited the ship and stepped into the bustling streets of Talia Prime. The atmosphere was rich with a blend of aromas, spices, and cooked foods wafting through the air mingled with the scent of humid flora. Everywhere, colorful stalls lined the streets, peddling everything from fruits to unusual tech gadgets. Stick close, Jake said, the trio blending into the crowd as they moved through the throngs of diverse beings. Talia Prime was a mosaic of life. Aliens of different shapes and sizes, humans, and intergalactic wanderers all mingled in a seemingly chaotic harmony. Over there, Nia pointed toward a nearby stall adorned with intricate tapestries and a variety of goods. Let's talk to that merchant. They might offer information and shelter. Intrigued, Jake followed the sisters as they approached the stall. A short, squat alien with wide eyes and an abundance of wrinkled skin peered up at them, and a broad smile broke across his face. Welcome, welcome. What do you seek in the marvelous city of Talia? Lyra stepped forward, charming the merchant with her welcoming demeanor. We're new here and looking for a safe place to rest. We also seek information, employment, trade routes, anything that might help us, really. The merchant rubbed his chin thoughtfully, his wrinkled fingers tapping a rhythmic pattern against the counter. Need employment, I can help with that. But information is another treasure altogether. Nia leaned in, determination glimmering in her eyes. What can you tell us about the factions here? We're especially interested in those not aligned with the current regime. The merchant's eyes sparkled mischievously. You seek the underground clever. Here, many live in shadow, practicing trades away from the envy of others. But it comes at a cost. Trust is rare, and betrayal is common. Jake eyed his surroundings. The world felt electrified with hidden danger. What's the price for information? He asked, cutting straight to the chase. Simple, the merchant responded, his grin widening. I have a shipment to be delivered, a crate of goods headed for the lower levels. Deliver it, and I will be sure to share my knowledge of safe havens and alliances. I'm in, Jake declared, inspired by the challenge. Where do we pick it up? Without skipping a beat, the merchant gestured toward a larger building on the outskirts of the marketplace. Follow the alleyway behind the carrot vendor. You'll find the shipment with ease. Grabbing the sister's hands, Jake grinned. Let's do this. As they left the vibrant marketplace, an undercurrent of excitement coursed through him. They were embarking on a new quest in this alien land. Little did they know that their arrival at Talia Prime would not only test their wits and resolve, but would also lead them to discover uncharted territories in their relationships, and perhaps their destinies. As Jake and the sisters navigated the crowded streets of Talia Prime, the atmosphere shifted from vibrant market life to an air of secrecy. The buildings grew taller and more oppressive, casting shadows over the narrow alleys. Yet, rather than feeling intimidated, Jake was fueled by adrenaline. This was adventure, and he couldn't help but relish it. Are you sure we can trust this merchant? Nia asked, her brow furrowed with concern as they approached the alley behind the carrot vendor. He seems authentic, Jake replied, shrugging off her worries. Besides, we need information, and he might have more connections than we realize. Just remember to stay alert, Lyra admonished, her voice a firm reminder of their precarious situation. They slipped through the alleyway, the earthy smell of damp stone filling the air. The passageway was narrow, and Jake felt the weight of the world resting on their shoulders as they moved deeper into the shadows. There it is, Nia exclaimed, pointing toward a large, unassuming crate half hidden behind a stack of discarded goods. Jake peered closer, noting the markings. Looks like the right one, he said. Let's get it loaded up. With teamwork, they hoisted the crate, which was surprisingly heavy. Sweat beaded on Jake's forehead as they maneuvered it. The weight was almost symbolic of the burden they carried from their escape. What's in this thing? Jake grunted, adjusting his grip. Does it matter? Lyra quipped, her smile fading slightly as they struggled together. Just focus on getting it to the merchant. They finally managed to move the crate to the back of the ship, carefully sliding it into the cargo hold. Breathing heavily, Jake wiped his brow and turned to the sisters. All right, let's get this back to the merchant before someone sees us. Nia nodded, her expression determined. Agreed. The sooner we do this, the sooner we can gather more intel. As they reboard the ship and Jake powered up the engines, Nia and Lyra secured the cargo. Each hum of the machinery felt like an affirmation of their choice. With a flick of a lever, the ship lifted off the ground and soared back into the open skies of Talia Prime. Within minutes, they reached the stall where they had first met the merchant. Jake expertly landed the ship, easing it back onto familiar ground. The moment they disembarked, they spotted the merchant waiting, his eyes alight with anticipation. You return, he exclaimed, rubbing his hands together like a greedy child. Did you succeed? We have your shipment, Jake replied, gesturing to the crate they had lugged with such effort. Now about that information. First, help me unload it. We'll talk after, the merchant said, his tone brisk. Working quickly, they moved the crate from the ship onto the merchant's stall, breathing a sigh of relief as they finally set it down. The merchant clapped his hands together, a satisfied grin spreading across his face. Excellent work. Now, let us discuss the treasures of knowledge I have to offer. As the merchant unlocked the crate, Jake leaned in, curiosity bubbling within him. Was it illicit goods? Exotic items? The possibilities spun in his mind. What do you have in there? Nia asked, eyeing the contents suspiciously. The merchant presented various trinkets, glimmering jewelry that sparkled with energy, rare spices that emitted mesmerizing scents, and odd devices that clicked and whirred, all invaluable treasures in the right hands. But more importantly, I have information. Jake nodded, eager to cut to the chase. What do you know about safe places to hide? The factions here are complex, the merchant began, his voice lowering into a conspiratorial whisper. There are those who would help you, and those who would sell you out in an instant. The underbelly of Talia is rife with betrayal and danger. However, I can introduce you to the Unity, a resistance group seeking to oppose the prevailing powers. Unity? Jake repeated, intrigued. Indeed, the merchant nodded. They can provide sanctuary, but they are cautious. They will want to test your loyalty. More than that, they would require something in return. Nia frowned, her expression shifting. What do you mean we have to give something in return? Information, skills, or assistance with their cause, as long as they trust your intentions. If you're to remain free, it is essential you forge alliances. Sounds risky, Lyra commented, crossing her arms. Risk is the price of freedom, my friends, the merchant responded, leaning back smugly. I can set up a meeting for you. But be warned, if they sense even a hint of deceit, they will not hesitate to get rid of you. Jake exchanged glances with the sisters, a silent understanding passing between them. When's the meeting? He asked, his resolve hardening. Tonight at sunset, the merchant replied, gesturing toward a hidden tavern nestled between two rooftops. Ask for Alicia. She'll know you're coming. Thank you, Jake said, feeling a mix of gratitude and apprehension. As they prepared to leave, the merchant added, and remember, one misstep can have dire consequences. Stay close, observe, and for your own sake, don't let your friendship cloud your judgment in this meeting. With apprehension weighing heavily on their minds, they boarded the ship, their hearts pounding with the gravity of the decision they were about to make. As Jake took the controls, he glanced over at the sisters, who wore expressions of both fear and excitement. Are you ready for this? He asked, gripping the steering wheel tightly. Ready or not, we have to try, Nia responded, her voice steady against the uncertainty. Yes, we'll face it together. Whatever they throw at us, Lyra noted, her confidence infectious. As they lifted off from the merchant's stall, the sun began to dip towards the horizon, casting a brilliant array of colors across the sky. Jake steered the ship toward the tavern, driven by the desire for a future free from fear. Yet deep down, he knew that the path ahead would be riddled with challenges, both external and within their newfound bond. They were stepping into the unknown, and for Jake, it was a chance to discover not just the realm of intergalactic politics, but also the depth of relationships that were blossoming amongst them. Where this adventure led was uncertain, but together, they would face whatever came next. As they approached the tavern, the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the cobblestone streets. The establishment, the Starlight Pen, was nestled between two crumbling buildings, its entrance obscured by a heavy curtain. Flickering lanterns cast a warm glow, illuminating the faces of patrons drifting in and out. Jake parked the ship a short distance away and turned to the sisters, his heart racing in anticipation. This is it, he said, remembering the merchant's warnings. Stick to the plan. We're a united front. Always, Nia affirmed, her voice steady. Together, we can handle whatever they throw at us. Lyra smirked, a glimmer of excitement in her eyes. I feel like we're about to embark on our greatest adventure yet. With a deep breath, they exited the ship, the curtain to the tavern swaying gently in the evening breeze. As Jake pushed aside the fabric, he was met with a cacophony of chatter, laughter, and the clinking of glasses. The tavern buzzed with energy, a social hub for individuals from all walks of the galaxy. The trio stepped inside, and Jake's gaze adjusted to the dimly lit interior. A row of tables filled the room, each surrounded by beings of every shape and color, some deep in revelry, while others were engaged in hushed conversations. At the far end of the room, a bar lined with bottles from across the universe glistened under soft lighting. "Now where's Alicia?" Jake murmured, scanning the crowd. "Let's ask," Lyra suggested, her confidence unwavering as she approached a nearby table. "Excuse me," she called to a burly figure seated there. "Do you know where we might find someone named Alicia?" The figure turned around, a towering alien with thick horns jetting from his brow. "Alicia," he rumbled, narrowing his eyes. "You're not the first to seek her out tonight. Follow that corridor over there. She has a private area." "Thanks," Jake said, grateful for the direction. Following the pointer, they navigated through tighter spaces toward a shadowy hallway. Low murmurs filled the air as they approached a door at the end marked private. With a nod, Jake knocked lightly, and a sultry voice called out from inside, "Enter." He swung the door open to reveal a dimly lit room adorned with plush furnishings and decorative tapestries. A woman sat casually at a table, her cobalt skin shimmering under the low light. Alicia had an air of authority about her, exuding confidence from every pore. Her striking silver hair cascaded over her shoulders, and sharp features gave her an enigmatic allure. "Ah, fresh faces," Alicia remarked, leaning back in her chair, a hint of amusement playing on her lips. "You must be the ones the merchant spoke of." "Yes," Jake replied, stepping forward. "I'm Jake, and these are my friends, Lyra and Nia. We were looking for information and hopefully a safe place to stay." Alicia studied them, her keen amber eyes probing into the depths of their intentions. "Trust is a precious commodity here, and I must ask, what brings you to our side of the galaxy?" Lyra stepped up beside Jake. "We've escaped a dire situation and are seeking refuge. We know the merchant may trust you, but we need assurance." Alicia leaned forward, resting her chin on her hands. "You've broken free from a dangerous fate, but that alone doesn't earn you trust. You must prove yourselves to me first." "And how do we do that?" Nia asked, her brows furrowing in concern. "I have a task for you," Alicia replied, her tone now serious. "One of our own has gone missing. He ventured close to the Techno Syndicate's territory, which is a perilous area these days. If you can locate him and return with information regarding his whereabouts, especially about the Syndicate's operations, then we can forge an alliance." "What's in it for us?" Jake probed, wanting to ensure they weren't getting in over their heads. "Aiding us will grant you protection and a place within our resistance. If this man holds any vital information about the Syndicate, it'll help us weaken their grip on the area," Alicia explained, her expression unyielding. The sisters exchanged glances, weighing the implications of the task and the potential for danger. "What do you say?" Alicia pushed, her interest piqued. Jake hesitated but finally nodded, emboldened by determination. "We'll do it." Heart pounding in his chest, Jake led the charge through the narrow escape route, urgency driving him forward. Behind them, the sounds of pursuit continued to swell, footsteps echoing off the factory walls like the thundering of war drums. "Stay close," Jake shouted. "We can't let them corner us." They poured into another dimly lit corridor, the air heavy with dust and tension. The flickering lights above cast erratic shadows, mirroring the chaos unfolding behind them. Jake could feel the fear pulsing in the group, both his and theirs. "We have to find a way out," Nia urged, scanning their surroundings for an exit. Up ahead, Lyra pointed toward an open doorway that led outside into the night. With race instincts kicking in, they surged forward, hearts alive with desperation. As they neared the door, Jake took one last glance over his shoulder. The Syndicate operatives were mere moments away, their shouts reverberating through the factory. "Go!" Jake yelled, leading everyone through the doorway, out into the cool night air. They burst into the open, the sounds of the factory fading behind them. The stars twinkled above, a stark contrast to the danger that lurked just moments ago. They skidded to a halt, panting as they regrouped in a small alley behind the factory. Shadows clung to the walls, offering a momentary reprieve. "Is everyone okay?" Jake gasped, his eyes darting to Aaron and the other captives. "I think so," Aaron replied, breathless but unharmed. "What now?" "We need to get somewhere safe," Nia replied, her mind racing. "The Syndicate won't give up easily." "Follow me," Lyra instructed, a determined look on her face. "I know a place, a safe house nearby. We can regroup, tend to any injuries, and plan our next move." Without hesitation, the group took off, following Lyra as she led them through the twisting streets of Talia Prime. They traveled in silence, each person lost in their thoughts, relief, fatigue, and a lingering urgency to remain hidden. After a few twists and turns, they arrived at a modest building, tucked away from prying eyes. Lyra knocked on the door in a specific pattern, and moments later, a figure opened it cautiously. "Lyra!" the woman exclaimed, her face lighting up at the sight of the sisters. "You're back." "Not just us, others need help," Lyra said, ushering them inside. The interior was warm and inviting, a stark contrast to the stark danger they had just escaped. The safe house was filled with cushions, odd furniture, and a gentle light that seemed to welcome weary souls. Once inside, the group quickly settled, and Jake felt a wave of relief wash over him as the door clicked shut behind them. For the first time that night, he allowed himself to take a deep breath. "What a night," he muttered, glancing at the sisters, whose looks mirrored both exhaustion and exhilaration. "Can't say it was boring," Nia replied, a hint of humor in her tone even as they sat exhausted on soft cushions. Lyra nodded, her gaze moving to Aaron and the other captives. "We need to check on everyone. After that, we can plan." After tending to minor injuries and providing water, they gathered in the common area. Aaron stood before them, his expression solemn. "I can't thank you all enough. If it weren't for your bravery, I don't know what would have happened to me or the others. You gave us hope." Jake felt a lump in his throat. "We're just glad you're safe. Everyone deserves a chance at freedom." Lyra placed a reassuring hand on Jake's shoulder. "Thanks to your courage, we each have a role to play in this fight against the Syndicate." Aaron smiled, gratitude etched in his features. "You've already made a difference. There are others who wish to fight against their control. If we have the resources and the strength, we might take back our home. We can build on what we've started," Nia said confidently. "This night was just the beginning. United, we can face whatever they throw at us." The mood shifted, a sense of camaraderie binding them as they discussed their next steps, forming plans for their resistance and how to tackle the looming threat of the Syndicate. As the night wore on, they ensured everyone was comfortable, sharing stories, laughter, and building bonds that transcended their harrowing experience. Jake looked around, feeling a spark ignite within him, the thrill of standing for something greater than oneself. Finally, under the soft glow of the safe house, he realized he had found not only a purpose within the storm of adversity, but also newfound friendships that would carry them onward. "Together we rise," he declared, the words echoing their shared mission. As they continued discussing their plans, Jake felt a sense of empowerment wash over him. Despite the dangers that lay ahead, they were no longer just individuals. They were a united front, a family forged through adversity and strength. And amidst the chaos of their new reality, Jake's heart swelled with hope as he envisioned the future they would build together, the bonds that would unite them in the fight against the darkness threatening to consume their lives. In that moment, he knew that they would overcome whatever challenges awaited, no matter the odds, standing shoulder to shoulder as they embraced their new frontier of adventure together.